So we're going to need our ink, a paintbrush, watercolour paper, some sort of pot to mix it up in, and some water, because ink is very much like watercolour, except when it comes straight out it's really quite saturated. I find inks to be quite full of colour. So when I do my paintings, I like to build the layers up, so I like to get it from light first onto dark. And the way I do it is I just mix a bit of water in with the ink, and it creates slightly different shades, but they get lighter. And obviously the more water you add, the lighter it will come, creating a nice wash. And for the new paintings, I quite like to have at least 3 different shades of the same colour. Helps to add depth, make them look all 3D. The other thing you can do, a bit like with watercolour, is if you keep layering it up to a certain extent, it will keep getting darker. The other way to go would be to make it even darker. So we get some of our ink, and this is actually a bit of watered down black, so it's kind of a grey colour. You won't need much. You can already see it's making a darker shade. So when I'm doing my shadows, I'll sort of do something like that. And again, the more you layer this up, if you let it dry and then put more on, the darker it will get. Or you could go in and add a bit more of the grey. And then if you really want to push it, your final shade and tone is obviously black. And with the black you can add a bit of water to it and sort of blend it out into a grey. That works quite well. And believe it or not, you can get white. So by the time you've added water, grey or white, to just the one, this is nut brown Winsor & Newton ink, you can get all these different shades. I'll do a quick little hair to show you this in action. As with everything on the channel, we like to make them crabby. Even animals can have a bad day. So I'm just using a pen to ink in the black. Just a Uniball little fine tip pen. The other thing I do occasionally use is the nib and the ink. In fact, I quite normally use the ink and the dip pen, but for some reason at the moment everything seems to be using this pen and then an ink wash. And normally when these things happen, I just go with it, because things happen for a reason. So we're just quickly, loosely sketching over the top of the pencil. bit of grass here and there. And quickly rub out the pencil. This one's got a bit of a funny look to it. So what I will do is maybe a bit of water first, because it's going to really lighten things up whilst we get our first coat on. And this is watered down. You don't have to be very specific with where we're putting it. I'm going to use now straight ink where the shadows will be, or even the mid-tones, because we can use the black and the grey to go darker if we need. And with this I'm just placing it where I feel the shadows are going to be. And then we can mix up a bit of a darker tone. Sometimes it is better to wait for one layer to dry. But if you do wet on wet, you will get it will blend. And I've got some green I mixed up for some other paintings I've been doing. And the key is just to be quite loose. So there we have it. Quick little bunny rabbit using different tones of the same ink colour.